Well. I got some news on Donald Trump. And I found a post of this online, and it's titled, With Indicted Trump Expected to Turn Himself In on Tuesday, Here's What to Expect Next. Ex president will be fingerprinted, photographed, field based questions, and arranged in process that lasts several hours. He's unlikely to be handcuffed publicly. Yeah, he deserves to be in prison. Okay. New York Associated Press. Every day, hundreds of people are taken into law enforcement custody in New York City. Former U.S. President Donald Trump is expected to become one of them as early as next week. Trump was indicted by a Manhattan grand jury, prosecutors and defense lawyers said Thursday, after an investigation into payments made during his 2016 presidential campaign. The silence claims of an extramural extra mental sexual encounter. The indictment itself remains sealed for now in the final criminal case even brought against a former U.S. president. Trump, a Republican who assailed the case Thursday as a Democratic prosecutor's political prosecution of a completely innocent person, is expected to turn himself into authorities on Tuesday, according to a person familiar with the matter but not authorized to discuss it publicly. The person said the details of a surrender are still being worked out. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Briggs's office said it had contacted Trump's lawyer to coordinate his surrender and arrangement. For any New York defendant, poor or powerful, answering criminal charges means being fingerprinted and photographed, filling basic questions such as name and birth date, and getting arranged. All told, defendants are typically denied for at least several hours. There can be differences in where the different steps happen, how long they take, whatever handcuffs come out, and other predicaments. A lot depends on the severity of the case and whatever defendants arrange to turn themselves in. But there is no playbook for booking an ex president with U.S. Secret Service protection. Agents are asked with the prosecution of former presidents unless and until they say they don't need it. Trump has kept his detail, so agents would need to be by his side at all times. This would be unique, outliner, said Jeremy Salin, a defense lawyer and former prosecutor in Manhattan. If Trump indeed turns himself in, expect carefully coordinated and relatively quick process and release without bail, as is common in New York, and with a focus on security. A former president isn't likely to be padded in cuffs across a sidewalk or through a crowded courthouse hallway, Salin predicts. It's a public forum, but safety is also paramount, he notes. If defendants are notified for an indictment or impediment arrest, they often arrange to turn themselves in. Doing so can smooth the process and strengthen arguments for bail by showing that they aren't evading the case. For example, when the former fiancé chief of Trump's company Alan Westbird, was indicted in Manhattan on tax fraud charges in 2021. He was able to turn himself in at a courthouse side door before normal workday hours. He aimed was to reduce the likelihood that the surrender would become a media frenzy, his lawyers wrote in a subsequent court filing. Weissenberg arrived around 6:15 a.m. and was taken to what his attorneys described as a holding room for booking an interview about potential release and other procedures. To pass the time, he brought a book, Chicken Soup for the Baseball Fan's Soul, and his lawyers supplied him with a snack, a face mask, breath mints, and other items according to the filling. Weissenberg was arraigned and released about 8 hours later after being walked into a courtroom past a flux of news cameras in the hallway. Weissenberg eventually pleaded guilty to dodging taxes on job perks, including a free apartment and school tuition for his grandchildren. Disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein, on the other hand, turned himself in at a Manhattan police station in 2018 to face rape and criminal sex act charges. He was briefly in a station house cell, flipping through a photograph biography of famed film director Egon Konsand before being led out in handcuffs and taken to court under the grace of journalists on a sidewalk and other suspects in a courthouse booking area where some hollered, "Yo, Harvey!" Within about 3 hours after his surrender, Weinstein was arraigned and released on electronic monitoring and $1 million bail. Weinstein was eventually convicted. His appeal is now before New York's highest court. He's also been convicted on smaller charges in Los Angeles. But even a scheduled arrest is still an arrest. Defendants have to give up cell phones and some other personal items for safekeeping and in some cases potential evidence. And lawyers generally aren't allowed to accompany their clients through the process. Attorneys often advise traveling light and staying mum. Don't make any statements because you think you're helping your situation, but they can't just use your statements against you because you get caught up in the moment. You get nervous, says Gillian Carmelane, a defense lawyer who practiced in New York City and on Long Island. Many arrests in New York City aren't pre-planned. That can be a very different experience for defendants, even potential ones. When a hotel housekeeper accuses then international monetary fraud chief and potential French presidential contender Dominique Strauss-Kahn of sexually assaulting her in 2011, he was pulled off a plane at Kennedy Airport. Strauss-Kahn, who said his encounter with the woman was consensual, spent about 36 hours being questioned, arrested, undergoing various exams, and waiting in such spots as a courthouse holding pen before being arraigned and jailed without bail. After several days at the city's notorious Rikers Island jail, Strauss-Kahn was allowed out on $1 million bail under house arrest with armed guards. Manhattan prosecutors eventually dropped the criminal case against Strauss-Kahn, who later settled a civil suit brought by his accuser. Okay, Um, I didn't need to read all of that. Well, looks like Donald Trump is expected to turn himself in on Tuesday to face some charges. Having an affair with a former porn star, Stormy Daniels, and gave her hush money. Yeah, I don't like Donald Trump. I don't care for him, and he gets what's he gets what's coming to him. He deserves what he gets. And I heard about all these scumbag Republicans and his stupid supporters coming to his defense and defending him, saying stuff like, "Oh, it's a witch hunt. They're just doing that. The Democrats are just doing that because they know that Donald Trump was going to beat them all in the presidential election in 2024." And all this ridiculous crap. Yeah, and these are the same people who sit back and let innocent children get shot and killed at schools through school shootings because they're blocking like gun reform slash gun control, not letting it pass because it violates people's freedom to have a gun. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know what to say. I hope Donald Trump gets the handcuffs slapped on him. I hope he gets thrown to the ground. I hope he gets beaten by an inch of his life by crazy American cops. Yeah, they just like pistol whip him and throw him in a jail cell. And he's wearing an orange jumpsuit, an orange prison jumpsuit. Yeah, sitting behind bars, kicking and screaming and throwing a fit. Yeah. And they got to get past the dildos and the robots. The authorities, they got to get past the dildos and the robots to arrest Trump, his Secret Service detail, because he's a former president and he needs protection. Yeah. Mm, yeah. I don't know what to say. All I can say is arrest him. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah. Donald Trump and Harvey Weinstein will share a jail cell together. And they'll have another roommate, R. Kelly. R. Kelly, yeah. The guy, the guy who was taken down for sex trafficking of minors and racketeering charges and having sex with minors. Yeah. Yeah, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and Donald Trump will all share a jail cell together. I know this is becoming a little excessive, but let's just you know, I say throw in George W. Bush, a former president who deserves to be in prison because he lied this country into a war back in 2003. Uh, to all of you who don't know about George W. Bush, well, it's a treat for all of you. Oh yeah, yeah. Also, I know that I got some people from other countries who are watching the videos on this channel. Yes, I understand that you guys don't live in the U.S., but But I guess you watch these videos to be interested and to be amazed and wooed and wowed by what's going on in the United States. Yeah, I'm clearing my throat here. Jesus Christ, I got some phlegm in my throat. Oh yeah. You know something? I am sick and tired of all this drama here in the US. That's what goes on in this country. Just drama. Drama, 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 drama. Seriousness, all business, putting a criminal down, give them justice, you know, don't care about them getting sick and old and dying and saying that, oh, they deserve to rot in hell, they deserve to burn in hell. I'm just tired of all this drama, and I am. You know, you know, um, if overseas in countries in Europe, you know, a place where you can be yourself and be who you are, you feel good about yourself. You know, you don't need to be the way you are like you are here in the States. You know, I heard someone from Europe said this. I mean, if you look at the United States, it's not all that great. It's not that great there, because Europe is way better than the United States. And that's true. That's true. If I live in Europe, I don't have to worry about people insulting me and putting me down and making fun of how I speak, how I talk. I don't have to worry about being judged. I don't have to worry about being criticized. I don't have to worry about being broken down and torn down by toxic American people who just make you miserable, angry, and sad and lose it. I don't worry about anybody telling me, oh, you can't do this, you can't hold a job because you have a temper and you won't be able to speak French and learn how to speak French because you have a learning disability. And what did you say? What did you say? Do you know what you say? Do you know what you said? You don't know. and and you talk about you want to commit suicide. Well, there's going to be someone out there who's going to do that for you. Stuff like that. People tearing you down. And it's funny, these Americans who tear people down, and they wonder why these people lose it and take their rage and frustration and anger out on people. Rage is anger anyway. They just take their rage and frustration out on people. And they wonder why. Someone in the comments on one of the videos on this channel said this: Americans are responsible for creating these monsters, for making people angry and bitter and making them lose it. They will never accept this responsibility. No, they won't. And I tell you what, they'll just blame it all on you. They'll just put the blame on you, like it's you, like you're the problem. But in reality, they're the problem. Yeah, and someone also in comments on the videos on this channel said this. Oh, they tell you to go see a therapist and take pills like that's gonna fix anything. That's not gonna fix nothing. I went through that. It didn't help me. It was just a big band-aid slapped over a wound. Yeah, if I do take these pills from a therapist or a psychiatrist, it's gonna make me gain weight, make me fat, make me sleepy, make me drowsy and non-responsive and just sleep all the time. That's not gonna help me. But that's what people in America, some people in the US run on. They just run on the so-called individual who has a problem. Tell them to see a therapist, tell them to pop pills. Tell them it's their fault. Tell them, "Oh, you're the only one who thinks this. Nobody else doesn't think that." And all this BS. You know, I wish I was living in Europe right now. I won't be hearing any of this shit. The only thing I'll be into in Europe is, trying to talk to women, making friends, and enjoying life and having a good time at a truck show or a carnival or whatnot. I wouldn't be sitting here listening to all this crap being thrown at me by clueless people in the US. And I don't give a I don't care what people in Canada thinks, because those people up there in Canada, they don't have a clue either. And they don't. You know. Yeah, you got these brain dead Americans who talk about, "Oh, Canadian people are so nice. They're warm and friendly people." And there are also people who can stab you in the back and just come up and don't say nothing to you when you talk to them. They'll they'll bitch and complain about how bad their country is because they're in the bubble and they don't see how bad it is here in the US. If you tell them how it is in the US, some of them won't care, and others will say, "Oh, you live in the US, you have more freedom. I don't have to worry about paying for no one's problems. Blah, 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 blah." In New Manchester, ignorant comment. I want to say this. Canada, go fuck yourself. You and every Canuck who bitch and moan and complain about how bad your country is, you guys go fuck yourselves. Or better yet, will you guys just shut up? Stop complaining. The people that you should be going after is people like Justin Trudeau and his liberals in the Canadian Parliament in Ottawa. That's who you guys should be going after. You guys just wasting your time just bashing Americans who are ignorant of your country. Then you guys go around thinking that you're smart, you think you're better than everybody, think you're hot shit. But let me tell you something. Nobody in the world does not care about your country. Just like I don't care about the United States anymore. Yeah. So, I can't wait. I can't wait to just leave the US, leave North America in general, and just just go to another continent. You know. Yeah, I've been to Europe, and I'm going to be going to Asia in the fall. So that's going to be great. So yeah, people in the United States and people who come to the U.S. from other countries. Hope I said this right. People who are native who live in the U.S. and foreigners who come to the U.S. from other countries. Those people who just brag about and say that the U.S. is the greatest country in the world, and and Texas is a whole other country, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. Those people don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're just living in the bubble, because I know for a fact that every state in the U.S. and the entire country as a whole isn't a great country. It's not a happy place. It's just a crumbling, messed up, broken shithole. That's what the United States is. New York City is America's armpit, and the state of Texas is a pimple, a zit on the butt, on one of the butt cheeks of the United States. I don't care where you go in the US. I don't care what state you go to. It's all crap. Crap, 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 crap. You know, someone from Canada said this about the US. Red, white, and screwed. I agree with that. The United States of America is red, white, and screwed. And that, I hate to say it, and it's true. You got people who used to live in the United States, who was born and raised in this country. They left and went to Europe. Americans moving to Portugal, Americans moving to Italy, Americans moving to France. Americans are moving overseas because they know that this country is falling apart. They're sick and tired of the political drama. They saw how the COVID-19 pandemic was handled. They're just fed up with it. They left it. They left the country. And they're never coming back. Because once Americans who have a brain and they see how bad their country is, once they get on that plane, that international flight, and fly out of the U.S. To countries overseas, once they do that, they will never, ever come back. Never ever come back. They're long gone. And I hope I'm one of those Americans. I hope I'm one of them, because I'm fed up with the US. I had enough. I seen enough. I'm tired of all the bullshit from the freaks and weirdos and broken people in the States here on YouTube and comment sections. Yeah. So, I'm going to say this, before I go overseas, after I get done taking a shit, I'm going to use the American flag and the Texas state flag to wipe my ass after I take a shit. So Those two flags will be my toilet paper, will be my bathroom tissue after I take a dump and drop a deuce in the toilet. Speaking of toilet, the United States is just basically a turd that's floating in the water in a toilet bowl in the toilet, ready to be flushed. Yeah. Flush that piece of crap down the toilet. Okay, that's all I gotta say in this video. Cheers and au revoir. Take care. Be safe. Bye.